When we think of Roman roads, grand legions marching in perfect formation often come to mind. When we think of Roman roads, grand legions marching in perfect formation often come to mind. But for most, travel was a vastly different, far more perilous affair. Forget the speed and comfort of today. Imagine instead a journey measured in blistered feet and constant vigilance. How different was their journey? Who were these common travelers? Merchants hauling pottery, olive oil, or perhaps precious metals on behalf of a patron. Farmers bringing surplus grain or livestock to market. Craftsmen seeking work in a new town carrying their tools. Or families simply visiting relatives, their meager possessions bundled tightly. Their journey was a necessity, not a luxury. Rome built an incredible network. Over 250,000 miles of roads at its peak, masterpieces of engineering designed for military swiftness. Yet, for the everyday person, these weren't always smooth, well-maintained highways. Far from it, especially once you left the major arteries and ventured onto local or provincial routes. Most commoners walked, mile after mile, day after day. A typical pace might be 15 to 20 miles a day, carrying their possessions on their back or perhaps with a sturdy mule. This wasn't a leisure stroll. It was a grueling test of endurance, often under the relentless Roman sun or through biting winds. If you were lucky, you might have a cart pulled by an ox or donkey. These were painfully slow, often barely breaking 10 miles a day, and the carts themselves were notoriously uncomfortable. Wooden wheels without suspension, rattling over every stone and rut. A constant bone-jarring ordeal that offered little reprieve. Imagine a sound, a constant, low thrum, just at the edge of hearing, but only you can hear it. It's the dull ache in your feet, the creak of your cart, the relentless chirping of cicadas, and the distant, unsettling whisper of the wind through unfamiliar trees. It's the sound of solitude and vulnerability, but physical discomfort was often the least of their worries. The Roman roads, for all their engineering marvels, were also arteries for danger, and the most notorious threat? Bandits. They lurked in dense forests, mountain passes, and even along seemingly safe stretches near towns, waiting for unsuspecting prey. Every shadow held a potential threat. Every bend in the road, a new uncertainty. Travelers would often try to join larger groups for safety, but even then, strength in numbers wasn't always a guarantee. The landscape itself, with its dense forests and rocky outcrops, felt like an accomplice to unseen dangers. These weren't always organized gangs. Sometimes they were desperate individuals. They'd target anyone appearing vulnerable, a lone merchant, a small family, pilgrims with offerings. They might take your coins, your goods, even your clothes, leaving you stranded, miles from help, and utterly destitute. Unlike senators or wealthy citizens with their retinues of slaves and bodyguards, commoners had little protection. There wasn't a widespread police force patrolling the roads. You were largely on your own, relying on luck, your wits, or the kindness of strangers, which was never assured. Beyond human threats, the wilderness itself posed risks. While less common than banditry, wolves, bears, and even wild boars roamed the more remote regions. A chance encounter could easily turn deadly, especially if you were unarmed or alone, with no one to hear your cries. Then there were the natural hazards. Heavy rains could turn sections of road into impassable mud pits, or even wash away bridges. Winter brought snow and ice, making mountain passes treacherous. A sudden flood could leave you stranded for days, your journey halted indefinitely, with dwindling provisions. Even without extreme weather, road conditions themselves often caused delays. While major imperial roads were well built, countless local roads, or those further from Rome, saw little maintenance. Potholes, broken paving stones, and collapsed sections were a constant challenge for both feet and wheels. Rivers presented another common delay. Not every crossing had a sturdy Roman bridge. Often, you'd rely on rickety ferries, which might be slow, expensive, or simply unavailable if the river was swollen or the ferryman decided to take a holiday. Waiting for passage could eat up precious hours, even days. And then came the official stops, toll gates, customs checkpoints, or military patrols. Officials might demand fees, inspect your goods, or question your purpose. These stops, though necessary for the state, were frustrating bottlenecks for the common traveler, adding both time and expense. Food on the road was often basic: hard bread, cheese, dried fruit, perhaps some olives. If you couldn't afford an inn, you'd carry your own provisions, which added weight and could spoil quickly. Water sources were also a concern. Finding clean, safe water was a constant task, and bad water could mean sickness. As dusk approached, the search for shelter became paramount. For commoners, this usually meant *capona* or *taberna*, a roadside inn. But these were often a far cry from comfortable. Imagine a medium shot. A subtle tracking movement follows a weary traveler in loose, earth-toned robes, worn from the journey, as their gaze meets the eyes of a dubious innkeeper. These inns were typically noisy, crowded, and unsanitary. Shared rooms, often with strangers, offered little privacy or security. Food could be stale, wine watered down, and the risk of theft from fellow travelers or even the inn staff was ever present. A night's rest offered little true reprieve from the day's anxieties. The unsanitary conditions, coupled with constant exposure to the elements and strange water sources, made travelers highly susceptible to illness. A simple stomach ailment, a fever, or an infected blister could quickly turn life-threatening. Far from any medical help, and without access to proper care, every step, every stop, incurred costs. Food, water, lodging, tolls, ferry fees, it all added up. For a commoner, often traveling to earn a pittance, these expenses ate into their meager profits. Some might sleep under the stars to save a coin, risking even more danger from the cold or wild animals. Beyond the physical and financial strain, there was the psychological toll. The constant vigilance against bandits, the uncertainty of the journey, the loneliness of long stretches of road, the sheer exhaustion. It all chipped away at a traveler's spirit. Every sunrise brought both hope and renewed apprehension. This starkly contrasts with the elite Roman traveler. They journey with retinues, riding in comfortable carriages, staying in private villas or dedicated government rest stops called *mansions*. Their experience was one of relative comfort, speed, and security, a world away from the commoner's struggle. Yet, despite these formidable challenges, commoners traveled. They had to. Life demanded it. Their resilience, their sheer determination to reach their destination is a testament to the human spirit. Each journey was an act of courage, a gamble against the odds, driven by necessity and hope. And yet, imagine the profound relief upon finally seeing your destination, the gates of a city, the smoke from a relative's hearth, every ache, every fear momentarily forgotten. It wasn't just reaching a place, it was surviving the journey, a small victory against a world constantly testing your resolve. The Roman roads are rightly celebrated as engineering marvels, but our understanding deepens when we remember them not just as conduits for legions and emperors, but as the dusty, dangerous, and often disheartening pathways for millions of ordinary people trying to carve out a life. Imagine an orb of pure energy, defying gravity, gliding silently through your home. Then it vanishes. That fleeting, almost magical image is how we often perceive Roman travel. A smooth, effortless marvel. But the reality for most was far more grounded, far more human, and infinitely more challenging. It was a world where a simple trip to the next town could be an epic undertaking, fraught with peril and uncertainty, a testament to the hardships faced and the incredible fortitude required just to navigate the daily necessities of life in the Roman Empire, one weary step at a time. What forgotten detail of ancient life do you find most surprising?